Hey guys, I'm Kishore Swami, and in today's tutorial we would be learning about debugging and diagnostics of an automation project that is built on OpenSpan or Pega Robotics. Basically, both are same. And for this particular tutorial, we would be using the project that we built in our previous tutorial, wherein we just open up a calculator application, press two buttons, and show the results of those two buttons, added result on Windows home application. So let's get started. So there was a bug while it pops up the calculator application, and then it automatically starts the calculator application. So to fix that bug or that problem, you can do one thing: run the application manually, then right click on your status bar and go to Start Task Manager. Go to Application, select your calculator application or the application that you're trying to interrogate, and choose Go to Process. Once you are there in the process, again right click and choose Open File Location. And you need to copy this particular location or this exe file. Just choose Copy, close your folder, go back, close your Task Manager, go back to the application's path property. Just make sure you have selected the application here and go to the path property. Open this window and paste it. So it will point to the right exe. That issue wherein when you click on the Start Interrogation button, it pops up the application and automatically stop the interrogation. That issue just comes if you don't point the correct exe file in the path property. So when you select the correct exe file, your issue would be automatically fixed. So now all about debugging. So for the debugging, you can go to the debugging option or the menu on the top, and you can find there are multiple options to debug an application. You can start debugging by pressing F5. You can start the application without debugging if you press Ctrl F5. You can also start this particular process of automation by attaching this to the different process. So if you select it, it will show all the running process on this particular system, and you can attach that particular automation to one of the running process. And the next one is step into. By pressing F11, you can step into one particular automation steps, and similarly you can use step over if you want to step over one particular module. And if you want to use the breakpoint and the output and immediate windows, these are the all options if application is not running. And similarly, if you run the application, let's see what all options are available. So while application is running, you can see the options are changed here. You can see the break call. You can see the stop debugging, deattach all processes, terminate all, and similarly you can find here the multiple windows. Windows options are increased. And now we will take the debugging option one by one. So while debugging, if you want to step or stop the process on one particular point, then you need to add a breakpoint. So to add a breakpoint, wherever you like to add a breakpoint, just right click on the particular process flow. So as I said in the previous tutorial, that yellow lines indicate about the process flow and the blue lines indicate about the data flow. So just highlight any of the process flow wherever you want to add a breakpoint, and right click and choose toggle breakpoint. So when you run the particular process, it will stop at the breakpoint. And similarly, so let's run this automation by clicking on the Start Automation button. So you see, it has automatically stopped here. Now, if you want to run the automation step by step, then you can press F11. See, and if you want to step over, then you can press F10. Similarly, if you want to add a watch to see what data one of the automation component has, then you can add a watch. And once you add a watch, you can see those values under automation watch window. And to show that automation watch window, you can click on the debug, Windows, and automation watches. And similarly, you can also see the automation values in automation locals. So in the automation locals, it will show all the components values, and in the watch window, you can see the components that you add to the watch here. So we added these two. Right click add watch, and similarly right click and add watch. So it will show the watch values or the components those were added to the watch in automation watch window here. So let's step into by pressing F11. So you see the values are changing in, that is the text property, this particular property here. So when you press 4, it was 4 and it was showing the 4 here. When you press 5, that time it was 5 and it was showing 5 here. And now it added and showing the output result as 9, that is you can see here. Similar. And if you want to just see the value of a particular component, then you can just mouse over on the data property and you can see here. Yeah, property. This is all about debugging an application. You can use F5. Then you can add a breakpoint by right clicking on any of the process and choose toggle breakpoint. Then you can use F11 to step-by-step running an automation process, and you can also use F10 to step over. And similarly, to add a automation watch, just right click on any data flow and choose add watch, and to see the watch values you need to go to debug, Windows, and automation watch. And if you want to see all the components values, then you can choose automation locals. And to remove a breakpoint, you can similarly right click and choose delete. Also, you can go to debug and deattach all the breakpoints. And the other way, you can go to the breakpoint window here and you can choose delete all the breakpoints. Or if you want to delete a particular breakpoint, then just uncheck. And if you want to automation not to stop on the breakpoint, you can either disable or delete. So these are the options available for debugging and automation project. And similarly, if you want to add some log files to diagnostic an application while running in the live environment, then you can go to the tool, options, and go to the Pega Robotics. If you're using OpenSpan, then it would be OpenSpan here. And choose the Studio Diagnostic. So these are the values those are gonna logged into the log files. So you can change what type of information you want to log, either in error, warning, or info, or you want to off that information. This is while debugging in Studio, and if you want to log the information on runtime, then you can go to the runtime diagnostics and go to log categories. It will also show the similar kind of information, and you can manually change it here. And while debugging an application, you can also use to try and catch. And to add a try catch, let me stop the application. You can see this tiny button here. So to add a try catch in one particular block, say for example, we want to add a try catch here at the end. So, and want to add a catch, then click on catch, and here, catch the exception. And do whatever you want to do. Add the exception. You can show a message box or anything like that. And under the exception would be in these kind of events. If this is a system exception, you can choose to handle it on the system exception, or the OpenSpan, or the network, or MS, domain, Microsoft, or these type of exception you can individually handle. So by default it is system. So this is about try catch. So these are the options available to debug an application on the Visual Studio, or OpenSpan Studio, or a Pega Robotics Studio. And similarly, you can use runtime diagnostic to log all the errors in case your application encounters an error. And there is another option you can use. If you don't want to stop your application on error, then just choose this suppress errors to true. So it will jump over the errors and process the next one. So